Now this is sometimes the easiest thing to do, sometimes it's not, but I'm going to be doing under cabinet lighting. So same methods are going to apply if you already have your cabinets up, but we're getting a little bit more stealth because we have access into the internal walls. I'm doing other electrical, and so let's go ahead and come on in here and take a closer look. All right, so measuring tape will be your friend, especially in new construction or full-blown remodel like I am here. You're looking at my kitchen countertops minus the countertop, so I'm going to have stone quartz on top of this, but I should say my cabinets, kitchen cabinets. This is where my line goes, and I gave a couple inches for stone, and I was a little bit generous with it. Put my electrical outlet boxes in right here, but let's go ahead and come right over here. So these are all low voltage wires right here. I'm using 16 gauge for my LED lights. Some people use 18 gauge. 16 is a little bit thicker wire, especially for my longer runs. So again, 16 gauge is what I'm using, and that is each strand. Now they do sell it. I'll try to link it in the description box below. It's a lot easier if you get it in the red and black. I already had this wire on hand. I have some white one and some blue one, but I ran out of white one, so that's why I marked it right here. Marking is going to be your friend, especially if you're using the same color. I have electrical taped the negative one for easy soldering when I get to that point, as well as what's coming out of your walls. This is going to be my negative wire right here. Again, measuring tape's going to be your friend. I've already measured that this is literally going to be the underside of my cabinet. So I drilled a hole right through here, popped both my wires out, and then ran that cord. Now, if you are going to be drilling through your 2x4s, these are 2x6s, go right through the center. Don't make your holes too big. I'm going to be running 4 sets of wires through this one. That's why that hole is a little larger than this one. And then this particular box, because I'm going to be doing a tile backsplash, is the adjustable one. So you just slip them through, and then the little plastic latches kind of keep them in place, as we can see right down through here. So definitely label it as well. So this is going to go to the coffee bar. This one's going to be my right set, and this is going to be my left set. And so what you do in this particular case is I have to make a jump. So I'm going to have a set of cabinets right here. I'm going to have one row, that's what's coming out of the wall right here. I'm going to have one set of LEDs on diffusers underneath the cabinets, stopping at my stove and range hood. And then the next line, which I labeled left, again, a whole separate 2 wires going into the box. That is going over and is going to go below the one 18-inch cabinet right here, stopping at the refrigerator. Then I have a third line going all the way over. That's why you see this drywall here, going up, and you can see it barely right there, going on the back side of the wall, and then coming out right here. Now, some people might say, Chris, that's just a waste. You should have just used like a Wago connector or something like that. Again, I already have the wiring, super simple. I already had the holes drilled. I'm just running separate lines, and it's just what I'm doing. There might be other people that say otherwise regarding like I should have just like teed off from this one, but I'm just doing separate lines for each individual custom run of lights. So these 2 are going to be underneath the cabinets for the coffee bar, but then I'm actually going to do another set above the cabinets on the coffee bar. I'm not doing any above cabinets here because the cabinets are literally going to go to the ceiling. So I ran out of wire. I need to order some more. Again, I'll link it in the description box below. I need to run another set all the way through, up and over, and popping out. And I already made my line popping out on the top for top LED lights right here. Now, it's a little over the top. I'm going to be doing it on my custom kitchen island, but I didn't really want to do it below, but you would do the same thing, just coming down the bottom if you're going to be doing the same row down here on the footboard portion of your cabinets. And the reason why I'm making such long runs is I'm only having one switch. I'm going to show you the custom switch. It has a built-in LED driver in it. It's dimmable. That's why I'm going this route. You could potentially just have like one switch for that, which would light up that. You could do another switch over here, which would just light up this, etc. But just giving you some options here. And this is all low voltage wire, but it's tucked in there. I'm gonna, push in my insulation. But let's go ahead and look at what light switch I'm using. This is by the company Hit Lights, and this is a dimmable with a switch. The driver's inside of it, and I'll get some better shots when I do install this, but the button is right here. You push the button and then you would dim it or raise it up with a little slide bar right there. Again, it comes with a white, a cream, and a black faceplate, which I really like because the tile I'm using, I'm going to be using the black one. This is what it looks like right here. Here's your push-in button, and then you got to put, obviously, the slider up. The faceplate. Here's your low voltage wires, which is going to go into a nut cap with all of these. So the negatives, all the negatives together, all the positives together. We'll show you that. And then this side is going to be my high voltage coming off of my Romex House 110 going into these, which is then gonna automatically, with this driver, it's actually pretty small too, which is nice, it's gonna crank out 12 volts out of this side here. Super nice, custom. You don't have to hide a LED driver in the wall or in your cabinet down below or anything like that. Again, a little pricey little sucker, but I think it's pretty custom. Now, the only downside to this is some people have stated for long durations on Power 100, it actually does get a little bit hot. So I would recommend, if you have these on every night for like 6 hours, just dim them down to like maybe 80 or 90 and just check the heat on this. Again, that's what others have been stating about this particular device. So do keep that in mind. So if you're going to do it the way I'm doing it, definitely mark everything for easy access, easy soldering when we get to that point. All right, I'm waiting on Amazon. We're going to run one more line like I just mentioned for the upper portion. Alrighty, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at the under cabinet lighting. I did this one last night. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be right back to the build, but I do want to thank today's sponsor, which is Manscaped. They have just dropped their newest lineup of new products, the Lawnmower 4.0 Pro and the Lawnmower 3.0 Plus. I've made full tutorial videos already on the channel regarding these two trimmers, body trimmers, and they do an excellent job. These are the upgraded, new and improved models. And if you guys want 20% off and free shipping for whatever products they do offer, top link in the description box below. Your 20% discount will automatically be applied at checkout. Again, you get free shipping as well for whatever products. I highly recommend their beard hedger as well. It does an absolutely fantastic job. Not to mention their boxers, which I'm wearing right now. Again, they have a plethora of products, so definitely check out that link, top link in the description box below. 20% off and free shipping. Lawnmower 4.0 Pro, Lawnmower 3.0 Plus. Grab yourself a couple pairs of boxers on the way out. You're going to highly enjoy them. Thank you, Manscaped, for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to the build, because now we're all clean. Might as well dirty myself up a little bit now. And I did a run, and let's go ahead and explain what we got going on here. Okay, first thing I did is I unfortunately mismeasured. I thought this was gonna be coming out like right around here, and then I totally forgot that I'm gonna be moving my lights to the front. I didn't want the lights on the back. You can do the lights on the back if you want, but if they're out here, sometimes they'll cast a nice shifting shadow, so to speak, instead of just coming like straight down on your backsplash, etc. Again, I'm 5'9", I can't see that, but obviously if someone comes down this way, then you can see it. Not that big of a deal. And I'll probably get some sort of like cable management thing just to put over there. It's not that big of a deal. But let me show you what I should have done entirely for all the wiring is I got my hands on this. This is 16 gauge, 100 foot. This is access wire, so this is good for this installation as well as speaker wire. It has red and black underneath the white conduit. And what's nice about this is it's streamlined, right? So again, take a look at this. Really nice and streamlined here, and then we branch off to two right here. I also did some heat shrink right here with some cable management little prongs in there as well. The other option you could have done is you could have gone through the top here and gone all the way over, popped a hole in here, and did the same thing on the inside if you'd rather do that with your measurements, etc. Not that big of a deal, but if I could go back and do it, I would do it all with just this one strand here, the mono price I just showed you. That way it comes out of the hole clean instead of two lines of wire. All right, then I have it sitting in my leftover diffuser channels. I'll link all this in the description box below. So again, it goes over here, comes in right here, and then the lights I'm using right here, I'll have these linked in the description box below as well. These are hit lights right here. These are the soft white 2700K, and again, I'll link these in the description box below. I bought 2 packs Don't know if I'm gonna need 2 packs for the other installation, but let me just kind of show you what we did here. So the LED lights do come with a power supply prong on the end of it that's already soldered on. I removed that and I'm soldering on my wires. Now with these, because these are really nicely in high end, there's cut spots like every 3 LED lights. So here's a cut spot, 1, 2, 3 LED lights and another cut spot. That's really good for installations like this, because what you don't want is you don't want to have to cut it and then it be too long, or you don't want to have to cut it and it be too short. 3 LEDs is beautiful. My last run of my cupboards right here, it literally was right on the dot. It was beautiful cut. And again, I'll have this linked in the description box below. It's just kind of a cheapy soldering iron. I got my solder, my wet sponge, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wire these leads right here and test your LED strip to make sure you're not reverse, as in plus should go on minus, minus should go on plus, reverse polarity, I believe you pronounce it. So if it's not working, switch them and it'll probably work after that. So this is your cut line right here. So what I actually do is I cut right behind the main solder, so I have a little bit more solder to solder onto, just like this right here. And now what I'll do is I'll solder on my wires right here. This one, same exact thing coming around the corner. I'll heat shrink this on so that the leads are nice and beautifully tucked in there, and then it'll tuck into the channel. Make sure you put your heat shrink on first, so that way you can slide it into place and get your heat gun and heat shrink it on. And then what I did to secure the channels below here is these actually come with clips, but I ran out of the clips. I used all the clips in my bathroom installation. So actually what I tried to do was this double-sided tape, and it didn't really work out too well, especially if you have a long run. It's gonna get a little heavy. This is actually a couple scrap pieces I had that came out perfect. I cut them down on a miter saw. So I actually have 1, 2 pieces, and then this whole one is 1 piece of aluminum diffuser. And you can't even see the seam unless you get right there, and then you can see the seam right there, but you can't see that with the naked eye. And then what I had to do, my house is older, so it's not completely square, is with my cabinets, I had to notch out with the oscillating tool right there. I notched out this little area here so the channels could go straight through. Now I had to cut them down to size because again, my house isn't perfect, and one cabinet, the way it lays, is slightly lower than the other one. Again, to the naked eye, no one's gonna know but you, and you'll forget about it after a week, but just letting you know. So again, I notched that center part out so the channel could run flush through, or it would have had to butt up against here. Then I would have had to solder more wires, run over, and then go. And I didn't want to see a hot spot in here, so that's why I did it this way here. The light works out absolutely fantastically. Of course, nighttime is so much better. Let's go ahead and get down here. Look at that beautiful, warm yellow to it. Alrighty, folks, I do want to show you the lights before it gets completely dark here. There's still some ambient light, but we do have a storm right now, so it's a little bit darker than it would be. We're at 75%, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, a couple modifications I would actually do if I could do it all over again is I wouldn't use as thick of diffusers that I use for my bathroom, because if you're at eye level right here, because my walls aren't completely square and because the cabinets are not custom, they're ready-made cabinets, you can see a little bit of light bar right here, and then this one is completely hidden until it goes right here. Again, the phone is lower than my actual face, so I can't see that, but if you were very short, you would be able to see it. So do keep that in mind. If you want that completely hidden, you might not want to go with the channels that I personally will link in the description box below. Go with narrower or shorter channels, but these ones show 0 hotspots. If you're underneath, all you see is light, no hotspots. Same thing over here, a little bit of a discrepancy right through there. Not that big of a deal, but you perfectionists might want to do it. For the very top, I did the same thing. I used diffusers as well. You don't have to use diffusers. No one's going to see hot spots, but I just used it. I had them. It was like a perfect cut. Might as well use it if you have it. Now, regarding this getting hot, like other reviewers are stating for the control, I'm not experiencing that. I'm experiencing slight warmth, maybe. But again, if you don't have it on 100%, I'll be testing a little further for 100%. But I think I had it on 100% for quite a while. Felt it. It was a little bit warm, but not hot or anything like that. So it's not overheating. And this is at 100%, and it's just the lights. I've actually been using just the LED lights instead of my LED ceiling lights. I'm still actually remodeling the kitchen. That's why there's holes up there. I haven't put my other lighting in quite yet. It really does a really great job up here. I really like that. I'm glad I did that one. Not too much of a concern with the cathedral ceiling or vaulted ceiling. Yeah, it would have been a little cool, but they're so close to that ceiling. That might be a little overkill. Not that big of a deal. This one, I'm definitely glad I did that one. So again, we ran it right here. We jumped the custom range hood I'm going to be putting in, went right here, jumped all the way over to top and lower area here. They look absolutely fantastic, and I'll get another shot when it is completely dark, but I'm very impressed. And if you are wondering, this is what it looks like with the top lights in. I'm going to have some more chandelier Sputnik, I believe you pronounce it, lights in there as well, but just giving you kind of a full shot so far of the lights I have in. And then this is 75% as it is completely dark now, as we can see. And this is 100% with it being completely dark. Now, a couple things I do want to state. In the directions of the light switch, they actually want you to put it in a low voltage box, or if you don't have a low voltage box, you need a low voltage divider inside the box. Unfortunately, Lowe's doesn't sell one anymore, and it's just like a little slip-in thing that goes in between my normal 120. So I guess the whole purpose is cross current doesn't jump over and short out your low voltage wires, etc. So what I actually had to do is I actually had to buy a low voltage box at Lowe's and then take my oscillating tool and custom make a little slide in feature that fits in beautifully there. It's just the orange piece right here. That gives me a nice divider, as we can see. And also something I do want to state, that looks black, but that actually is super dark brown. So it's not black, it's actually super dark brown, but it's going to blend in just fine. Let me see if I can show you something black. With the naked eye, super up close, I can tell the difference. On camera, it doesn't look very different at all. And then we'll put a nice face plate over that. All right, so mounting the lights here, you have a couple different options. You can, before you tape the lights down to the channels and then put on your diffuser, you can put some very shallow self-tapping screws. Just make sure you don't go through the cabinets. If you do self-tapping screws, I would actually recommend that. That's only if you don't use the provided clips, which also are a great option as well. That's what I use for the bathroom for these particular channels. Since I didn't think about the self-tapping screws through the channels or had clips, I actually used a very thin run of liquid nails on the back of it and then used painter's tape to hold it into place for it to dry. Not that big of a deal if I ever do change these tubes out for some oddball reason. A little bit of yanking will unpry them but not destroy the cabinets. So do keep that in mind for mounting purposes, but try to use the provided clips or self-tapping screws. Would be a lot easier to remove in the future. Now, I only used one package of lights for the entire run over here, that run, and that run up top. It literally was almost perfect. I had about 6 inches of LED lights remaining. So if I were to do like up here, or on the footboards, then obviously I would need more than one package of 16.9 feet, I believe it is. But I will use the other package for my custom island when I do design and make that. Overall, I'm super pumped about the lights. It really makes my kitchen look very, very nice. And again, this is what I've been doing with the lights off above, just having it on about 75%. It's on 100 right now, but having it on about 75% while I'm enjoying a television show, etc. Now I'm chiming in real quickly here. I actually left the light on 100% last night for about 3.5 hours. I went to touch it and it was barely warm to the touch. So just a little heads up on that one. Mine personally is not getting overly hot when I do fill it, but again, barely slightly warm to the touch when I go like this after it's on for hours. Okay, and one more thing that you guys probably definitely want to know is, do they flicker? Do they kind of like, you know, go in and out? And absolutely not. Even the longest runs all the way over to this wall, from this wall through the studs, I'm getting no flickering or any sort of like dimming where these ones are more powerful than these ones. No, everything is very constant. Everything is the same. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. And again, the runs are super long. Definitely use some good wiring for that purpose. Again, I'll link this below. This is 16 gauge mono price. Do yourself a favor, get some good wiring. And then also, I do want to state that when you do push the button on, they actually light up very quickly. But once I push the button off, I'm going to do it right now. 1, 2, 3, off. They slowly dim. It takes it about 1 second. Again, I'm going to turn it on, and 1, 2, 3, turning on, and then 1, 2, 3, turning off, and it'll dim. So it'll take about 1 second to dim and it'll go off. But when you turn it on, it's like 0.2 seconds and the thing fires up. So just a little heads up on that one. I do want to state that it is a pretty smooth slider, has a nice little bite to it where it's not like loose or anything. It's not super tight, but it's not super loose either. And the push button feels pretty good right there as well. Overall, definitely like this light switch inverter, 2-in-1. Highly recommended, expensive, but highly recommended. Linked in the description box below. Once again, everything will be linked in the description box below. Thank you to Manscaped again for sponsoring this video. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out, helps the channel. Also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, as well as this kitchen being fully finished, looking absolutely stunning in my personal opinion. Thank you guys so much. We will see you on the next video. Make sure you are subscribed. Links are below.